What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz, Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check. And before I get into the meat of this video, I want to address a question. People are asking me right now, because I've been making so many positive vids about how the WWE is going right now, if you're liking the WWE so much, where are your Raw reviews? Well, here's the deal. If I'm truly engrossed in the show, as I have been in the past couple of weeks, I spend more time watching the show, less time taking notes. I spend more time talking to people right after the show than I do making videos. And problem being with a review, whether it's a pay-per-view, whether it's a Raw, whether it's a whatever, if you get your video out a day or two after the event has actually happened, it's pretty much irrelevant, because anybody that got their video out the same night or the next morning are the ones that are going to soak up all the views. So what I've tried to do in lieu is translate the excitement that I've got because of the good direction that I think the WWE is in right now. And it's not trolling. I'm genuinely having a good time right now. I know people think it's impossible to be enjoying WWE so much right now with Daniel Bryan gone. But it's why I've been doing other topical videos, like my championship video, and like the storylines video and all that sort of thing. What I'm going to talk about today is on Sunday, WWE was in Toronto. They were at the Ricoh Coliseum for a house show. And I can't tell you how many people were there. I can't give you any stats or any of that shit. But I can tell you it was a good-ass show. I can tell you my sister-in-law's little sister, who's a John Cena fan, tagged along with me. She had a good time. I had a good time. It's one of those things. We all bitch a lot about WWE and it's kid-friendly and it's kid-oriented and all that sort of thing. But if you are at a show or even here at the house and some of the people watching with you are kids and you can see them get excited and whatnot, it's not great for your entertainment value, but it gives you that feel-good moment. You're happy for them that they're having a good time. You know, Cena came out, she looked like she was going to cry, etc. It's all good, but genuinely speaking, and I'm not saying that this in any kind of exaggeratory way. I'm saying this purely based on the in-ring work that we saw at Ricoh on Sunday. The card that we had, if it was given proper build and proper time and proper, pomp and circumstance and all that, this could be a semi-decent B pay-per-view, if I'm not mistaken, or if I'm not over-exaggerating my point there. We started off with the Usos versus the Wyatts, which, yes, is something we've seen a lot, but something you don't really get until you see these two teams go at it live is the bullet hitting the brick wall factor, because the Usos are all over the place. The Usos are damn energetic. There was no pyro at this show. Well, the last time I was at a house show, there wasn't very much of it, but there was some pyro. So to see the Usos come out and do their big woo-hoo-hoo, and then they go down, and that's usually when their pyro comes, it seemed very off. It seemed like a really, really good show put on with less effort, but it was still a really good show. Does that make sense? The Wyatts are absolute maniacs, and the problem with being in a very small arena like the Ricoh is we did see a couple of Wyatt promos on the screen, but because of the way the sound is and it's not that great, we didn't actually hear what Wyatt said. You heard his inflection, you heard his intensity and his maniacal nature, and even that was enough to enjoy, but it wasn't, you couldn't hear the bulk of what he was saying. A lot of it was about Cena, so, typical John Cena's a liar, he's a false hero, da-da-da-da, is what I'm assuming it was. Usos versus the Wyatts, it was a great match. The Wyatts looked great, they looked dominant, they absolutely ran through the Usos for most of the show, but because it's a house show and, titles are not going to change hands, and it was billed as a title match, the Usos won. The Usos won... it's like Cena wins LOL, but not really. It was good, and I mean, to see on Raw the next night the Wyatts get that win right back in dominant fashion on TV, where they should, in front of a bigger audience, where they should, made it even better. But this is a tag team rivalry that's not getting old, so I didn't mind. Fandango versus R-Truth was meh. Fandango is, I like Fandango. Fandango's good in the ring when they let him be, but, R-Truth is there, and if it's an R-Truth match, it's designed to have a feel-good victory, and that's exactly what you got. You got the little, something that Fandango was trying to do got reversed into the little Jimmy. It was a good in-between match. Fandango doing the typical Healy thing, grabs the microphone, I wasn't ready, I demand another match, I want a match with anybody in the back, and then we groan, because it's the Great Khali, and, me being from Brampton, which is just outside Toronto, which was a very large Indian population, it was just like, oh, there's so many jokes I could make right now, but I'm trying to be a good person. Any of you, I know there's at least one person in my subscriptions list that watches me constantly that's from Brampton, and you know exactly what I'm talking about, exactly what we all think when, say, Jinder Mahal or the Great Khali or Ranjan Singh or anybody like that. It is suddenly wrestling is from Brampton. It is what it is. The match starts, one chop, and Khali gets the bullshit victory, which is sad. What is not sad, however, is we got Rusev and Lana, and she starts her spiel, the people of America, and then, wait, oh, it's Canada. And they start talking about Canada like it's a third world country and how Canada should start following the example of Vladimir Putin. And it's all good. It's all the typical Lana Russian spiel, really, but it doesn't work because they're not in the States, and she's being all condescending. Come and join us. Don't be like your neighbors. And you get exactly what you expect, but his opponent is fucking Dolph Ziggler, who bumps like a fiend, so you know he's going to put Rusev over. This match, and I've got it right here in my notes, not as much of a squash as you might think. We all know Ziggler is famous for getting jobbed by the WWE because he can and he's good at it. But he had a lot of offense on Rusev. I mean, you're not going to see a match like this on Raw right now because they're trying to push Rusev. But this, I don't know, this match went about 10 minutes or so, and it was good, and Ziggler got his stuff in, and a couple of drop kicks, got the big man off his feet a lot for, again, in comparison to what we see on TV, because house shows, you don't necessarily get what you get on TV, and it's good, and it's okay, it's fine. You know, Rusev won, and it's all good, and yeah, but Ziggler looked like a ragdoll. It's what he's good at, and it's what he's going to keep doing, unfortunately. We had Paige versus Natalya Neidhart, and oh my god. This is the one instance where I'm really, really glad that Paige isn't the champion, because again, if she was the champion, it's a special foregone conclusion match that the champion retains and whatnot. But Natalya and Paige, this match, for a Divas match, there was a lot of technical, there was a lot of attempted submissions between the Scorpion Crosslock and the Sharpshooter and a couple of other variations of various things, and it's all good and it's all fine and it's all wonderful. Natalya, and this is where, I don't want to say this because I'm from Canada, but always I end up cheering for the person that's not. Shawn Michaels over Bret Hart, Lita over Trish Stratus. Certain people like Jeff Hardy and CM Punk over Edge. And I was really cheering for Paige in this match, but in the back of my head, and it should be a good thing, you're like, Natty's going to win this, because we're in Canada and it's in the book. And she did. It was no squash match whatsoever. Like I said, it went about 12 or 13 minutes, which for a Divas match is awesome. There wasn't a whole lot of the typical, like, slapping, hair-pulling bullshit, because both of these girls are a lot better than that. It ends in the Sharpshooter, which is fine. It's after several Scorpion Crosslock attempts, and the only thing that makes me able to stomach this a little bit is, like, Natty is a lot bigger and a lot stronger than Paige, so I can buy the Scorpion Crosslock not only being a submission, but being a submission where you have to actually lift the person up. I can buy that not being an easy thing to do. Her winning with the Sharpshooter in Canada, not a problem. Even better was after the match, because there's no story between these two, they genuinely did have the good sportsman handshake finish. Paige raised Natty's hand, which obviously is going to get a big pop in Canada. Fantastic match. One of the better matches of the night, I will go out and say. Stardust and Goldust versus Rybaxel, and the Stardust and Goldust won. Cody Rhodes is really, really getting comfortable in his skin as the Stardust character, and seeing it in person only solidified that. He moves differently, he fights differently, he acts differently, his mannerisms are completely 100% different. And this is just me watching from the stands telling you that. The Stardust and Goldust win. Rybaxel got such a do not give a shit reaction from the small little Toronto crowd we had at Rico. It was ridiculous. Who didn't get a ridiculous reaction? I should say, before I go on, the only two matches advertised for this show were Orton versus Roman Reigns and John Cena versus Bray Wyatt, which was supposedly going to be a last man standing match, but it wasn't. We'll get there in a second. Orton versus Roman Reigns. Now, say what you will about Orton. Say what you will about Roman Reigns, for that matter. Roman Reigns looked like a monster in the, like, more so than he does on television, because Randy Orton, whether anybody wants to admit it or not, whether anybody wants to give him the credit or not, was a rag doll for Roman Reigns. And yes, it's a house show, it's different, yada yada yada, but Randy Orton really was. He was slow, made Roman Reigns look fast. He was weak, he struggled with some stuff, made Roman Reigns look like a beast. Ate a spear that looked like it cut him clear in half. That running dropkick that Roman Reigns does when he's got the guy hung up on the outside with his head sticking out, I don't think they've bothered to give it a name, looks 10 times more impressive in person, as does the Superman punch and the spear. We got a second rope Samoan drop type thing that also looked really cool. Even more in person, the whole Roman Reigns has not shed the Shield attire does look weird, because now you have to imagine, I was down in the States, in Boston, with Steffi Sunshine for Survivor Series. I got to see the Shield make their entrance then, and seeing Roman Reigns make his entrance solo, still to the Shield music, still to the Shield attire, does look a bit strange and does look like a bit like a step backwards, but as soon as the match starts, you forget all about that. I'm not going to nitpick it to death like Deluxe Man and some other people are doing. Now you figure there's the first main event, here comes the second main event, the show's going to be over, but no, instead we get intermission. They showed some, they had, I think it was one of the ring announcers from NXT doing the ring announcing, which was kind of cool. She wasn't bad. She came into the ring. There's some signed Roman Reigns posters and some signed Paige posters, and if you want all these things, they're available at the merch stand right now, and a good time to do it would be now, because we're going to go to intermission. Fine, wonderful. We come back, and she introduces Santino Marella, to which I initially said, oh great, we're going to get a Santino match, and I immediately ended up feeling like a complete asshole, because Santino Marella came out and talked about how he's had 3 neck injuries, how he doesn't think he's ever going to be able to wrestle again, how he's always been billed as from Calabria, Italy, and he's never in his career going to be able to be announced properly. And then he says, as most of you know, I'm from Toronto. Well, Mississauga, but it's kind of the same thing, which, if you're local, you'll like, yeah, Mississauga tries to be Toronto, and it fails on its ass. But I live in Brampton, and Brampton doesn't even get to say they try to be Mississauga, so it is what it is. He makes his announcement, and it's one of those things. It's sad that he has to retire. It's sad that he's injured. It's even more sad because I wish I cared more. And that sounds like a really asshole thing for me to say, but it's true. Santino, WWE has never given me a reason to care about Santino. I don't want to see the guy out of a job. I don't want to see the guy injured, for sure. But WWE has never given me a reason to care, and that kind of sucks. But he ends it off with, you know, I don't want to ruin everybody's night. Just remember, if I never come back again, I've always been one of you. And it's big, happy moment. All of a sudden, everybody's cheering for Santino, because it's what you do. But we come back, and we have Kofi Kingston, which is always going to get the crowd back up and lively again, versus Cesaro, and just... I mentioned it to one of the other people sitting with me. I just said, Kofi Kingston has 3 jobs: show up, entertain people, and lose. And I shouldn't say that sandwiched between 2 victories over Cesaro on Raw, but he got obliterated by Cesaro. It just was what it was, and the... what do you call it? The neutralizer is a very impressive looking move to see in person, especially as close as we were. Yeah, house show. So no Heyman. I was incredibly bummed about that. We did not get a Heyman promo. What I was not bummed about, however, is The Miz comes out and cuts a promo, and he's my boy. I can't even try to, I know you guys were all really looking, you guys all bought your tickets to see me fight tonight, and it's like, no, you weren't even on the card, but that's some good assholeness, and and then the lights go out, and it is indeed Jericho. It is indeed all I could get. I'm gonna put my pictures from this show at the end of this video. I promise you they're all crap. They're all a bunch of fuzzy crap, but the one thing I did get in the darkness was the silhouette of Jericho's light bright jacket, and I immediately texted it to your good friend and mine, Steffi Sunshine, my tag team partner, and to which she responds, die. Because she's that much of a Jericho fan. But before they got it on Raw, I, live and in person, got to see the true re-debut of Chris Jericho versus The Miz in Toronto at the Ricoh Coliseum. By far the best match of the night. Is that even a surprise? I don't care what you think of The Miz. I really don't. I've always been a Miz fan. I've never been shy about that fact. But Miz and Jericho put on a clinic. Lots of submission. Lots of trying for the figure four, which is interesting. Because, yeah, Miz does it because he did that whole thing with Ric Flair. But Miz going for the figure four and actually working the legs in preparation for the figure four. You know, so anybody that's got criticism for the Miz can stick it. And we move on. Jericho looks like a beast, clearly. One of the okay, almost not fuzzy pictures I have that you'll see at the end of this video is I do have a crystal clear image of The Miz tapping out to the walls of Jericho. Everybody goes home happy. Yet another Canadian victory. We're all good. Jericho cuts a promo afterwards about how it's his first match back in a year, and I wanted to do it here in Canada. Of course you did. And then, you know, it's a practice for tomorrow night on Raw, where you beat The Miz again. Cena versus Wyatt. It was advertised as a last man standing match. Cena comes out and says, hey, this is already a hardcore match, but let's make it more exciting. I'm going to put my title on the line. And for him to come out and say, hey, we're going to make it more important, I'm going to put my title on the line, is supposed to elicit a big pop and a huge response from the audience. But from me, it's just like, okay, you just obliterated any hope that we had of even a house show victory for Bray Wyatt, didn't we? The match was meh. Bray Wyatt did some stuff, and Bray Wyatt did all of his impressive-looking stuff. He does a lot of impressive-looking stuff for a big man, etc. John Cena just hamming it up and smiling big into the crowd a lot. And there was a moment where Bray Wyatt had him down. He was out. He was singing, you know, something about, like, John, I know you used to be a rapper, but I've got that same old song for you. And all of us Canadians sang along. He's got the whole world in his hands, and he's like, I have a voice that these people listen to, and how many people out there would like me to cave in John Cena's skull with this microphone? And the microphone shots to John Cena's head are amazing, until he blocks one and screams in John Cena fake intense fashion, go to hell. And there's some spots, there's some table shots. Obviously it's going to end with an FU through the table, because why not? There's a wick that I will say, to his credit, John Cena took a dirty looking DDT. We all know that WWE has those big black guardrails around the ringside area when you see a televised show. But at a house show, you still have the regular generic-looking wrought iron sections of barrier. And they brought one into the ring, and he took a DDT on that, which looked great. And he, you know, there was a bunch of... He tried to set up a table and broke the leg off because he's an idiot, and he put it in the corner instead and tried to salvage it into something relatively decent. And yeah, it's John Cena. Meh. This could have been the undercard, and Jericho versus Miz could have been the main event by a country mile, but much like any B pay-per-view, the John Cena main event is meh. So I still stick to the fact that with the proper build and the proper storylines behind it, this could be a B-card pay-per-view. I would definitely sign on for this being the card for a Raw. Interesting being at a house show because you don't have the same time structure. You don't have the same, okay, well, we're clearly going to commercial break right now. The entire time we were there, we saw 3 previews on the big screen for Battleground, which I'm okay with because it's the next pay-per-view. We didn't see any previews for anything else. And it was all good. The one thing that didn't happen that usually happens at a live show is they tell the crowd when WWE is coming back. So I have no idea when WWE is coming back to Toronto, and I have no idea when I can do another video like this for you guys. But, you know, some of you asked, and for the rest, this is what I'm doing this week. Go back a couple videos, put some questions in for my Q&A. I'm tired as fuck because I did this video right after work, and I'm not gonna lie, I had a pretty fucking shitty day, so I had to do something cool, so I thought I'd tell you guys about the house show that I was at. I've been Spaz, losing his voice as always, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep all these conversations going on. If any of you have house show experiences you want to share, put them down in the box below. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I'm tagging out. Bye, guys.
I'm on the train that's pulling the sick and twisted. you're a freak like me. Are you a freak like me? Are you a freak like me? If you're a freak like me, wave your flag. If you're a freak like me, get off your ass. It's our time now to let it all hang out. So shout if you're a freak like me. Don't apologize, they can hold you down. You were born to rise. It's our time now to come out. If you're a freak like me, you're a freak. If you're a freak like me, you're a freak. If you're a freak like me, you're a freak. If you're a freak like me, if you're a freak like me.
Guess who's back? I used to be broke, confused, no joke. Got used, smoked dope, paid dues, refused to give up quick. Now there's 10 million motherfuckers on my dick.
So what? Say how? Say who? Fuck what? Fuck me? Fuck you. Come clean, you know I will. Drink a fifth of Jim Beam and still stand still. I'm the illest fool, cooler than the water in a swimming pool. Fly like a seagull, kicking like a mule. More jams than a Beatle from Liverpool. I deliver, fool. Who the fuck are you? I'm Kid motherfucking Rock from the old school. Got more money than Matchbox 20. Get more ass than Mark McGrath. They say I'm cocky, and I say what? It ain't bragging, motherfucker, if you back it up. They say I'm cocky, and I say what? It ain't bragging, motherfucker, if you back it up. I'm from the outskirts of Detroit, Rock City. A-shirts, Cadillacs, big titties, skinny models, you can keep those. I like big corn-fed Midwestern hoes. Don't you know? Talk fast, pimp slow. Show up to black ties and t-shirts and slippers. Sipping liquor, fuck models, love strippers. Known as the Big Tipper with the Big Dipper. I got queens holding keys to my zipper. Fuck a real good girl. Got the baddest bitch in the world. They say I'm cocky, and I say what? It ain't bragging, motherfucker, if you back it up. They say I'm cocky, and I say what? It ain't bragging, motherfucker, if you back it up. Good in Hollywood, I got acres of land laid back in the woods, holding shares, cool like Fonzie, rolling Lake St. Clair in my 40-foot Donzie. You got a Bentley? Wow. I got jets with wet bars and trucks with gold plows. Bitch bow when I pimp through for the Kid, the Rock, the red, white, and blue. Who knew the Kid would be everything from old George Jones to Jay-Z? Baby, I'm sick of getting ripped off. So pissed, about to be pissed off. Macking me, cause you know I'm paid. That's why I'm slapping my gardeners and fucking my maids. Never mind my age, but if we're taking numbers, 15 million sold, motherfucker. They say I'm cocky, and I say what? It ain't bragging, motherfucker, if you back it up.